Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome to our pre-Ram Navami festival. Actually, you can move forward a bit, men. Maybe the ladies also slightly. Just a little bit to move forward. Yeah, welcome to our pre-Ram Navami festival number 1. Pre-Ram Navami festival number 2 is tomorrow afternoon. Yes, it's very nice. Let us get into the mood for celebrating the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. So, he is non-different from Lord Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his eternal consort is Mother Sita. She is a very glorious, transcendental personality. So tonight we're going to, first we'll sing Jai Radha Madhava, then we'll read a little bit about Lord Ram, and particularly we'll read a little bit about Lord Ram and his transcendental relationship with Mother Sita. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Charadha Madhava Kunja Bihari Charadha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Munatira Vanachare Charatamādava Kunjabihare Charatamādava Kunjabihare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Vishnuvatana, Subhri Rajik Charas, Tana Sura Shishmaris Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Swangaracharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki, Sri Ram Navami Mahotsava Ki, Sri Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Ki, Sankirtan Yajna Ki, Gaur Premanande. All glories to their Sama devotees, all glories to their Sama devotees, all glories to their Sama devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. In the bag. Take it away. Oh. I'll take it away. Thank you. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So welcome everyone to our pre-Ram Navami Festival #1. And it's just to get us into the mood gradually, to develop that mood for celebrating the appearance of the Lord and greeting the Lord on his appearance day. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our great previous acharyas, he said, Madhavatiti Bhakati Janani, that the appearance days, or just the festivals in general, associated with Lord Madhava, Lord Krishna, that Bhakati Janani, they are the mothers of our devotional spirit. The process which is described in Ramayana and the process which is described in Bhagavad Gita, the process is the same. That is the process of bhakti, of devotional service. So we have to somehow develop our devotional service. But we are in the material world, so we all know the material world is a very difficult place, but still, Madhavatiti Bhakati Janani, if we really take shelter of the Lord and take shelter of the holy days connected with him, like this appearance day of Lord Ram, which is coming up, the actual day, of course, is on Monday, then Bhakati Janani, that will be like the mother of our devotional spirit. In other words, it will, first of all, it will give birth. If we observe these occasions, they will give birth to our devotional spirit, and if we continue to observe them, then they will protect our bhakti, our devotion, and they will nourish our bhakti. So like this. This is one of the most important parts of the whole process of devotional service. So, we'll read a few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam in this regard. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 2 chapters dedicated to describing the glories and the pastimes of Lord Ram. So we'll read some of those verses. It's sort of like a condensed Ramayana, you could say. Very nice descriptions, beautiful descriptions. And particularly we're going to focus on the relationship of Lord Ram with Mother Sita. That's a very deep relationship. That is not like any of our material relationships, even though on the surface it may have some type of resemblance. So let us read now one verse. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th Canto, Chapter 10, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra. And first of all, we're going to read verse 54. Ekapatni Vratadara Rajarshi Charita Shuchi Swadaranam Grihamediyam Shikshayan Swayam Acharat. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanumana Ki Shri Srinatai Chaitanya Chandra Ki. So here's the translation. Listen to this carefully. Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other women. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of varnashram dharma. Thus he taught the general public by his personal activities. Let us read the purport to this verse by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, Ekapatni Vrata, accepting only one wife, was the glorious example set by Lord Ramachandra. One should not accept more than one wife. In those days, of course, people did marry more than one wife. Even Lord Ramachandra's father accepted more wives than one. But Lord Ramachandra, as an ideal king, accepted only one wife, Mother Sita. So of course now it's the practice, at least in the Western world, for men to only accept one wife. Although some ambitious chaps, they may have some other ideas sometimes, but Hare Krishna. Anyway, just see, Lord Ram's father, Dasarath, he's named Dasharath, because he could fight with 10 chariot warriors at one time. He was just one man, but he could fight Dasha, Rata, 10 other chariot warriors, and of course emerge victorious. So he accepted more than one wife. Krishna, of course, accepted 16,108 wives, but he was God. So Dasharath, even though he was a great warrior, he could face 10 other warriors, heavily armed and all ready for action, but he could face 10 of them. However, he had 3 wives, but he couldn't handle them. That is sort of one of the main parts of the story. Couldn't manage. One of them, Kaikeyi, just got the better of him, and that is sort of one of the main pillars or foundations of the whole pastime, that relationship with that third wife. So, actually in the Vedas it says that in Kali Yuga, if a man can maintain in all respects very nicely one wife, so she's very happy, everything is fine, no complaints, then he is considered to be expert, first-class expert. Yes. So we don't recommend, gentlemen, that you do anything other than follow in the footsteps of Lord Ram. As the verse says, that by accepting one wife, he taught the general public. He taught us by his personal activities. When Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ravan and the Rakshasas, Lord Ramachandra, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could have married hundreds and thousands of Sitas. But to teach us how faithful he was to his wife, he fought with Ravan and finally killed him. The Lord punished Ravan and rescued his wife to instruct men to have only one wife and to look after her properly and protect her, and in all respects very nicely. Lord Ramachandra accepted only one wife and manifested sublime character, thus setting an example for householders. A householder should live according to the ideal of Lord Ramachandra, who showed how to be a perfect person. Being a householder or living with a wife and children is never condemned, provided one lives according to the regulative principles of Varna Ashram Dharma. Those who live in accordance with these principles, whether as householders, brahmacharis, or vanaprasthas, are all equally important. So that's very nice, isn't it? Now we'll read the next verse. So that was about Lord Ram and how he was as a husband. So the gentleman can take note of that. Now let us read the next verse, verse 55. That is describing the qualities of Mother Sita, how she was ideal. And this is for the ladies. Pranani Vritya Shilena Prashraya Vanata Sati Diya Hriya Chabhavagya Bhartu Sita Haranana. Mother Sita was very submissive, faithful, shy, and chaste, always understanding the attitude of her husband. Thus, by her character and her love and service, she completely attracted the mind of the Lord. So, there's also a purport here, I think. Let's see. There's a purport here by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says that as Lord Ramachandra is the ideal husband, Ekapatni Vrata, Mother Sita is the ideal wife. Such a combination makes family life very happy. Yadyaracharti Shrestras, Tattara Eve Toro Jana. Whatever example a great man sets, common people follow. If the kings, the leaders, and the Brahmins, the teachers, would set forth the examples we receive from Vedic literature, in other words, if they would demonstrate those things, the entire world would be heaven. Indeed, there would no longer be hellish conditions within this material world. Yes. So, we need husbands like Lord Ram. At least, in their humble ways, they can try and follow in his footsteps. Not that they can be on the level of Lord Ram, obviously, because he is the Supreme Lord. And he's already automatically perfect in all respects. And we're just little people. We're contaminated by the material nature. Lust, anger, greed, envy, arrogance, pride, fear. These things are there within our hearts. So, it may not be easy, but in our humble ways, we should try and follow in the footsteps of the great personalities. Mahabharata says, Mahajano Yena Kata Sapanta. We should follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans, the great souls. So, gentlemen, you should try and follow in the footsteps of Lord Ram. And ladies, you should try to follow in the footsteps of Mother Sita. In this way we can have ideal husbands, ideal wives, then there will be ideal children, ideal environments within the homes, and as Prabhupada says here, that if people will actually live the lessons, live these lessons, given here in the Vedic literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, then this entire world would be heaven. A little hard to imagine, but it's there. At least within your home, it can be heavenly, or very, very nice, spiritually, very pure, very happy, very wonderful. And what can be better than that? And as more and more people become devotees and apply these teachings, it will spread more and more, And then actually the entire world can become like heaven, or even better, like the kingdom of God. So let us try. Don't wait for the person next to you, and when you see, coming every week, you're watching him. Is he improving? Then finally when you see he's becoming so nice, then you think, all right, I'll give it a try. No, you do it. You do it. This is what we need. People who will take a little responsibility for doing the right thing. Okay, so those are two very nice verses, very nice purports by Srila Prabhupada. There's one other verse I wanted to read, and then I'm going to read something from the Ramayana as translated by one of our ISKCON devotees. Not the abbreviated version, but the actual complete 25,000 verse Ramayana. Yeah, so anyway, let me read this verse first, and then we'll talk a bit about this little excerpt from Ramayana. So this is now the 11th chapter of the 9th canto. There are 2 chapters dealing with Lord Ramana's pastimes. So this is the second of those. Chapter 11 of the 9th canto is entitled Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. So this is describing the departure, the final departure of Mother Sita when she left this world altogether. And Lord Ram remained actually for many years afterwards. So he experienced great transcendental separation from his beloved Mother Sita. This is chapter 11, verse 16 in the 9th canto. Tachrutva Bhagavan Ramo Vrindan api diya shucha Smaramstasya gunams tam stan Nashaknod lodham Ishvara. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, was certainly aggrieved. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, he could not check his grief in transcendental love. So we might think, oh, it's just some story. He's meant to be the Supreme Lord. He's God. And how can we imagine God becoming broken-hearted, aggrieved, distressed, becoming heartbroken and emotional? He's God. These sorts of things don't happen to God. He's beyond these things. But no, he experiences these things. In the Bible it says, man is made in the image of God. In other words, we are little reflections of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we are persons, he is a person. As we have minds, he has a mind. As we have emotions, he has emotions. As we have relationships, he has relationships. But he is God, he is the greatest. So he has all of these things in the greatest ways. The greatest relationships, the greatest love, and the greatest feelings for those he loves. His capacity for everything, including to love, is far greater than our capacity to do anything, including to love. So there's a purport here, also a brief purport, which I'll read, and then we'll read a little bit, a couple of paragraphs from the Ramayana. Prabhupada says, Lord Ramachandra's grief at the news of Sita Devi's entering the earth is not to be considered material. In the spiritual world also, there are feelings of separation, but such feelings are considered spiritual bliss. Grief in separation exists, even in the absolute. But such feelings of separation in the spiritual world are transcendentally blissful. A perverted reflection. So, just see. It's not the same. Lord Ram felt separation from Mother Sita. We feel separation from some family member. They may die, or somehow we're separated, they go elsewhere. So we feel some separation. But that is not the same as the separation felt by Lord Ramachandra. And that is much deeper. Much, much deeper. There is no comparison, actually. And not only is it much deeper and much more powerful, but those feelings of separation are actually transcendental bliss. On the surface, they look like some distress, pain, heartbreak, all this sort of thing. But actually, they're transcendental bliss. Just like we say sometimes about Lord Krishna, when Lord Krishna was good as a child. Lord Krishna did so many things. He got up to all sorts of things. So when Lord Krishna was good, he was good. And when Krishna was bad, he was good. It's all good. Yes. Yes, not like us. Even when we do good, it's often bad. Yes. Okay, so that is the point here in principle, that Lord Ram, he is the Supreme Lord, and he has his relationship with his eternal consort, Srimati Sita Devi, and that is very deep, very deep. And there are very powerful feelings in that relationship. And we are now going to read a little bit, just to give us a little hint. In the Ramayana, one of our devotees, our BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, was going to publish Ramayana, complete, the whole thing. But in the course of working on it, it's a bit of a long story, but they encountered some technical problems. So the devotee stopped translating, but we have what he did. So he did maybe about half or two-thirds of it, something like that. And the particular part we're going to read is the part where Mother Sita is kidnapped by Ravan. Lord Ram was lured away by Maricha, the wizard in the form of a deer. Then Lakshman, even though Lord Ram told him, you just stay here and protect Sita and you don't move under any circumstances, but he disobeyed Ram. He went away. So, in this way, Sita was left basically unprotected. And Ravan came and kidnapped her and took her away. And by the time Lord Ram got back, it was too late. It was too late. She was gone. So Lord Ram became, just like we read, when she finally disappeared at the end of her pastimes, he couldn't check his grief. So when Sita was kidnapped, also Lord Ram, he couldn't check his grief. And in fact, the description, it's about 5 chapters, is just Lord Ram lamenting. 10 A4 pages of Lord Ram lamenting. So it all builds up to quite a climax at the end of the lamentation. And let us read just the last 3 paragraphs as Lord Ram is really coming to the complete, climax and crescendo of his anger and distress, being separated from Sita. Okay. So, he says a very interesting thing. I wonder if we could just be a little quieter out there. I know you're all talking Ram Katha, but if you wouldn't mind. So, Lord Ram says, the austere Sita has been abducted, killed, or eaten. Her virtue did not protect her from being carried away into the wilderness. Since Sita has been devoured or abducted, even the gods cannot do anything worse to me. Because I am mild-mannered, engaged in the welfare of the world, disciplined and compassionate, it seems that the gods think that I am unmanly. Very interesting. Just see how my attainment of these virtues has turned them into faults. But now, shunning all those virtues, my real vigor will now be manifest for the destruction of all living beings, including the Rakshasas, as the heat of the sun takes away the coolness of moonbeams. In other words, he's been a real gentleman. He's been a real gentleman. But now, despite that, upholding Dharma to the last letter, but despite that, he's lost Sita. So he says, all right, now we will do away with these virtues and just see what I'll do. Yes, neither the Yakshas, Gandharvas, goblins, Rakshasas, Kinnaras, or humans will be able to find any happiness. Watch as I fill the sky with missiles and arrows, O Lakshman. Now I'll prevent the movement of the living beings in all the three worlds. I shall bring the three worlds to ruination by stopping the movement of the planets, veiling the moon, destroying fire and wind, blocking the light of the sun, smashing the mountain peaks, drying up all sources of fresh water, destroying trees, bushes, and vines, and emptying the oceans. If the gods in charge of the world do not return Sita to me, in a short time they will see my prowess, O Lakshman. Because of the continuous network of arrows released from my bowstring, no creatures will be able to fly in the sky. See how my steel arrows destroy the world, creating confusion and destroying the bonds of propriety, with all the beasts and birds destroyed or fled away, shooting with full force arrows that cannot be counteracted by living beings. I shall rid the world of goblins and Rakshasas on account of Sita. Today, the gods will see the strength of the arrows impelled by anger that I shoot, and which can strike at any distance. When my anger flares up against the three worlds, there will no longer be any gods, demons, goblins, or Rakshasas. Torn to pieces by the flood of my arrows, the worlds of the gods, demons, and yakshas, as well as of the Rakshasas, will cease to exist. If the controlling gods do not return Sita to me, regardless of whether she has been abducted or is dead, I shall this very day, with my arrows, dissolve all the boundaries of these worlds. If they do not return my beloved to me in her original condition, I shall destroy all the three worlds of moving and non-moving beings. After saying this, Ram's eyes became as red as copper due to anger, and he gripped his bow tightly. Then Ram, the conqueror of enemy strongholds, lifted his bow, took a ferocious blazing arrow like a poisonous snake, and fixed it on his bow. Manifesting anger like the universal fire at the end of the world, he said the following: as much as none of the living entities are capable of warding off old age, death, time, or destiny, it is entirely impossible to counteract me when I am angry. If they do not immediately return Sita, who is faultless, then I shall overturn the whole universe with its gods, Gandharvas, men, serpents, and mountains. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. So this is Lord Ram. You see, Lord Ram is so deeply, and of course completely spiritually, but so deeply attached or affectionate to Mother Sita. She means so much to him that, as far as he's concerned, let all the three worlds, the whole universe, three worlds means all that there is in this universe. That's all. There's three worlds, three levels of planetary systems. He says, let them just be destroyed. That's all right. And all the gods, because after all, he's feeling that I was very good, but the gods, the demigods, they haven't protected me now. And Sita, she's faultless, but they didn't protect her. So let them be destroyed. Let them all be destroyed. And everybody else. All the Rakshasas, Ravan, that's Ravan's people, the Yakshas, and Gandharvas, all the residents of the heavenly planets, all the humans, all the animals, all the birds, everything. Just let it be destroyed. If I don't get my Sita back. Yes. So in other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very affectionate and loving to his pure devotees. Yes, his pure devotees mean more to him than anyone else. Compared to the pure devotees, nobody means anything to him, practically. They're not of any real consequence. Just like in the battle, great battle, millions and millions of people died. So many millions died in very violent ways. Very spectacular battle. So many people died. Why? So Lord Ram could get his one Sita back. That's all. He didn't want an empire to increase his kingdom. He didn't want to take all the treasury of Ravan, all his wealth and jewelry and gold. He didn't care about those things. He just wanted his Sita. That's all. So for that, for Sita, then he felt that if millions of people died, that's all right. For Sita, that's all right. So, to some people, of course, people on the materialistic platform, that might appear a little callous. But it's not really callousness. It just reveals the intensity of love the intensity of feeling that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has for his pure devotees, like Mother Sita. As Lord Vishnu says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam twaham maranyatena janati naham tebyo managapi. He says, the devotees, that the pure devotees are within my heart, and I am within the hearts of my pure devotees. My devotees don't know anyone other than me, and I don't know anyone other than them. Yes, so the relationship is so deep, that Lord Ram, feeling the absence of Sita, felt the whole world is empty. What is the point? There's no point in this continuing even to exist. So you could say that Mother Sita got a lot of mercy. Yes, she got a lot of mercy. That Lord Ram went to such lengths just for her. There's a saying that for the sake of a village, you can sacrifice one person. For the sake of a country, you can sacrifice a village. And it goes on. That sort of idea. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't think that I have so many devotees, millions and billions and trillions of them. I've got so many of them. Sita is just one. And it looks like it's going to be a bit of an endeavor to get her back, so yes, I'll be detached. It's a good quality. No, not like that. Not like that. He's ready to do anything. Of course, we understand that Lord Ram, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is omnipotent. He has all power. And he is omniscient. He is all-knowing. He has complete intelligence. So, we should understand very clearly that it is not that Lord Ram, in order to get Sita back, he had to go through this enormous endeavor, terrible struggle, so many people dying and, in all sorts of shocking ways. Just the most massive bloodbath. In order to get Sita back, he didn't have to do that. He's God. Srila Prabhupada says about Lord Nrsingadev in relation to Hiranyakashipu, that Lord Nrsingadev, he appeared and he fought with Hiranyakashipu, and the fight took some time. After some time, he caught him and killed him. So some of the audience watching, some of the demigods, they were in anxiety. Is he going to get Hiranyakashipu, or will Hiranyakashipu get him, or escape him, or something like that, and then come after us for calling him to come? So, they're in anxiety. Hiranyakashipu seemed to slip out of the grasp of Lord Nrsingadev at one point. So they thought, oh my gosh, the Lord cannot handle him. But Srila Prabhupada points out that in order to kill Hiranyakashipu, it is not that the Lord had to appear at all, in any form. He didn't even have to appear. Prabhupada makes the point that as Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is within, or at least within the region of the heart of every living entity, including Hiranyakashipu. And Prabhupada says that all the Lord had to do was lean across and turn off his heart pull the plug out or turn off the key, and that would have been the end of Hiranyakashipu. No big battle and back and forth and all this excitement. But he did it, though. He appeared and had that big dramatic fight. So the same point applies with Lord Ram. He is no less than Lord Nrsingadev at all. He is quite the same. So, in order to get rid of Ravan, he didn't have to amass some army and go tramping across India and somehow get across the sea and then fight for days and all sorts of misadventures, and Lakshman almost died, and all sorts of things like this, and people just getting smashed to pieces left and right. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it. He is also in Ravan's heart. He could have, again, just leant over and just gone, flick the switch down, and good night, Ravan. Khatam ho gaya. Ravan. He could have done it. No trouble. Yet he acted bewildered. Where is Sita? I don't even know where she is. So Hanuman and all the monkeys said, don't worry, we will find her. And they went off in all the directions. And with great difficulty they found her, and they came back. And Lord Ram said, oh, thank you, you found her. So it's not that he didn't know. It's not that he didn't know. So why did he go through this whole episode, huge episode of such drama and heartbreak and pain and killing and slaughtering and everything? Why did he go through all that? It's really, in one sense at least, of course in one sense it's his pastime. He can do it if he wants to, then he can do it, if he likes to do it that way. But in another sense, if we look at it from the point of view of being a little lesson to us, then the lesson is, he is showing us how much his devotees mean to him. If you don't get into a situation like that, if everything is always just fine and no problem, then how can you really show that depth of feeling, that we're willing to do anything under any circumstances? That nothing is too much. Even death, even mass slaughter is not too much. So, this is the lesson that Lord Ram is showing. How he feels, how the Lord feels about his pure devotees. Those feelings, they just exceed the limits on the feelings of the ordinary people. Yes. So, what does that mean to us then? That means we should become devotees. Get the special mercy. Yes, of course we can't be devotees like Mother Sita. She is an exception, great exception. But at least in our little ways we can follow in her footsteps and try to endear ourselves to the Lord and do something and dedicate ourselves for the pleasure of the Lord, try and serve him, and gradually try and give up our selfishness and concern for what's in it for me. What will I get out of it if I serve Lord Ram? No, if we actually give up our self-interest and really try to serve selflessly, sincerely, simply to please him, following in the footsteps of such great persons as Mother Sita, then he will also recognize us and will also give us great, great mercy. very, very great mercy, beyond our capacity to appreciate at this point. So let us all, therefore, become devotees, or if you're already a devotee or trying to be one, let's keep trying to move forward. Don't become complacent and think, yes, it's okay, I'm a devotee now. I'm already there. No. Let's try and move forward and come closer to the Lord and really do something to endear ourselves to the Lord. Yes. So that is what Ram Navami is for, to encourage us like that. Madhavatiti Bhakati Janani. If we become absorbed in remembering these pastimes of Lord Ram, trying to understand at least a little bit the depth of the relationship between him and Mother Sita, then we can become inspired. And in this way, we can become more absorbed in devotional service, Krishna consciousness, Ram consciousness, and in this way get the complete mercy of the Lord and go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. Can I just have that water, please? Thank you. So now, we do have a couple of questions here. I don't know how much time we have. I guess we can take 5 minutes. So just bear with us for another 5 minutes. And then, I guess we'll have Arti. Is it? Anyway, we will see, won't we? So, don't worry, you'll always find out in due course. Time is like that. All right. Hare Krishna. If one does not have a spiritual master, should he or she think of Srila Prabhupada or Lord Krishna while chanting? Yes, you should think of them anyway. But while you're chanting, really the first thing at least, it may be there to think, Krishna, some pastime, something. But actually the first thing is to hear the chanting. First process is Shravanam, hearing. Kirtanam, second, chanting. Then third is Smaranam, remembering. So if you're chanting, good. But if you're not really hearing when you're chanting, then it's not really the way it's meant to be. And then if you're trying to remember, well, it's kind of, so hearing must be there, it really must be there. So it's not that the chanting just becomes some background noise somewhere, but actually now you're just thinking about whatever, even Krishna. First thing, try to hear the chanting very nicely, yes. And then, yes, if you have a spiritual master, you can think of your spiritual master. Whether you have a spiritual master or not, you should still think of Srila Prabhupada, definitely. And of course we have to think of Lord Krishna, yes, but don't forget to hear the chanting. Yeah. If one follows the regulative principles and chants 16 rounds, does that qualify him to go back to Godhead, even though he does not have a spiritual master and is not an initiated devotee? Why, are you hoping to sidestep having to take a spiritual master? Is that the idea? Yes, we will take the shortcut. Well, the thing is, if you follow the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds nicely, and serve nicely, and associate nicely, then you will more or less automatically become inspired to accept a spiritual master, because it's there, practically on every page of Srila Prabhupada's books. It's just all pervasive. One has to accept a spiritual master. Doesn't mean that one has to prematurely or in some immature sort of way just accept, but in the proper way as much as one is able, under the guidance of the older devotees, then one should do that. And if one is doing these things properly, following the principles, chanting, reading the books, serving and so on, then one will naturally feel that one wants to and will try to move in that direction. Yeah. Why did both Krishna and Ram choose to kill two demons in the forms of women as the first demons that they encountered? Are you suggesting they were chauvinists? Male superiority or something?